If you look at a director of marketing versus a VP or CMO, when your board comes to you and says, hey, if we give you $1 million, what are you going to give us in return? That is such a simple question, but it's so difficult to answer. And that's where it also separates people who are manager, director, and being an executive. Can you with confidence say, if I give you $1 million, you're going to give me $1.5 million back in pipeline? How are you going to get there? And can you distill that down to a really easy to understand, concise, single page presentation? Because that's 40, 50 hours of data work, of research, of planning, analyzing, but can you distill it down? And a lot of people can't get that. And if you can't get that answer, it's going to hold you back long term and hold you back from growth, hold you back from really being as impactful as you can, and from, unfortunately, for a lot of people, career progression.
So we're putting you on a deserted island. You've got $1,000 a month budget to create demand. What are you spending that money on?
I would honestly spend most of that $1,000 on DoorDash gift cards.
Interesting.
One is I'm going to give my BDR, SDR gift card every time they close, and that actually converts to a deal. Bribe everyone. That's my stance on it. Just bribe everyone. Because I want to know that anything I bring in, they're following up on. Ultimately, as a marketer, my job is to make sales easier. And I want to make sure that everything is getting followed up upon. There's nothing worse than when you have a great event or a great program, you bring a ton of leads in, and then nothing gets touched by sales. And then I'm going to go out. I'm going to find someone to do data scraping for me for a low cost because I got low budget. So I'm going to go probably on Upwork, and I'm going to find someone to go do some manual data scraping. And I'm going to try and find people that are near in market. In market would be great too, but at least near in market. I'm going to find them. I'm going to make a list, and then I'm going to hit LinkedIn. And my BDR that I'm giving gift cards to, I'm going to try and get them to do this cold outbounding to it. I'm going to pull in Galaxy or Mailshake or another tool so I can do some sequence cadences between LinkedIn direct outreach and email marketing with it. And I'm going to put an incentive out there. I've narrowed my audience down to someone who's near in market. And so I'm going to have some incentive just to get them into a conversation. Bribe them with a little gift card, give them a good experience, and educate them along the way. And then get them over to your seller. Make sure your seller is just as incentivized to push them through the process.
I like your categorization of starting with the targeted audience. It doesn't sound fancy, but it so simplifies the problem. What are some ways you think of identifying prospects that are near in market?
Yeah, Gusto does this really well. Gusto is a tool for payroll, but they have a ton of templates that help you as you're approaching needing to make your first hire date. So that's where I would go. Find things that are, if not in market, close to in market, and start with that audience. If you have a limited budget, the dumbest thing you can do is target the world. You're never going to reach them. It's so much more important that you really narrow down where you spend your money to have an impact with it.
Sometimes people run into organizational challenges that might prevent them from being as agile as they'd like to be. It might prevent them even from spending resources on people who are near in market versus just focusing on capturing the people who are raising their hands. How do you advise clients to make the space to target people who aren't ready to buy yet?
It all comes down to alignment. Every problem you ever have in your entire life comes down to alignment. We're hearing a lot of people talk about doing more with less, budgets getting cut, all that stuff. Marketers are being pressured to have a quick return. So it can be really hard to make that space say, hey, we're not going to see an uptick in MQLs for 30 days. But once we do, it's going to come in really fast. So we're going to get to that return, but I need you guys to be patient, and we need to work towards that return. My recommendation is take that space you need, break it down into chunks, and help people understand what does good look like. So if we are working towards a program right now where we're going to target people who are potentially in market in the next 60 to 90 days, we're going to start nurturing them now. What does good look like? Meaning that we have high engagement. We're seeing more engagement coming in. We're using a tool like demand base or attribution, where we can see that in our target audience, we're seeing more net new contact source. We're seeing more people engaged with it. We're seeing more website views. So good looks like this. Because what do they think good looks like? What does a seller think good looks like? They think good looks like a qualified inbound that turns to a meeting that day and opens pipeline the next day.
That's right.
But that's what they want. And so it's helping them understand what is actually good. For a lot of leaders, their thought about marketing is just inbound. Your role as a marketer is to help educate and really partner with the rest of your leadership team and help them understand your program, understand how to measure it and what that time horizon looks like. You may need to, in the interim though, say, here's what we're going to do for demand capture of in-market people, and here's demand creation for those who are going to be in market in 60 to 90 days. And by the way, we know that there's people who are going to be buying in 120 days. So we're really going to start just an overall PR nurture program. Here's how we measure performance, and here's the plan. If you give someone a plan of how you're going to get there, it minimizes some of that risk of them not seeing a return yet. It's all alignment, right? Saying, here's our plan. Here's what good looks like. Are we all in agreement? Do we agree that this is how we're going to measure program impact, and it's not going to be pipeline generated? Yeah. We're going to measure this program impact based on moving accounts from unaware to aware. That's our goal. Are we all aligned? Then when you go in your meeting the next week and they go, yeah, but where's pipeline? You go, hey, hold on. Let's take a step back. We aligned on this is the goal. Here's how we're measuring it. Is there any compelling reason to change that? Oh, you need more activity for your sellers because they're, have too much free time on their hands now and they need more at-bats. Okay, let's talk about that. But that is a separate problem than this project that we aligned on, that we're reporting the progress towards. My greatest fear as a marketer is coming to an organization where we're aligned on my mandate there, my purpose, and then being in a meeting where nothing matters but leads, and that no one is open to anything but leads. That's the worst, because you're never going to win in that game. If you're always chasing that short term of capturing in market, getting people who are going to buy right away, you're never going to win the long-term game of driving sustainable growth for the company.